So, I was at my local Barnes& and Noble
Yes.
for, of course, the Criterion sale, because
course.
best time of the year.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh, it's like Christmas. It's like a holiday,
Yes.
basically. So I'm there. I'm all excited. Me. I got my Criterion wish list ready to go. I got everything, all excited. I get there, and I'm doing my usual browsing, and I'm not finding what I'm looking for. It's like title after title. It's like it's just not
It's always
here.
sad when you go there with a purpose to buy something, and then you get there and you're like, I mean,
Damn.
you start
Damn. And it's
sweating.
like-
I start to sweat. I'm like, and then you got to go talk. You got to go find the person that can help you, and nobody works in the video area over there anymore.
No.
So then you have to run around. You got to go up to the front of the store and ask somebody, and then they don't know. So then and then you got to call. You got to call somebody on the mic, and then it's like.
It's a whole big thing.
Yeah.
So I never do any of that. I just go home and end up ordering it online, basically, because it was all the most recent stuff I was looking for. We are back here once again with another episode of Chasing Labels. We are now on episode number 11, so we are fully crossed over to the double digits. And Steven, once again, we're back. I'm Andrew Cabral, this is Stephen Billings, and we are your hosts, or co-hosts as they say. Yeah, so Stephen, what's up? What's going on?
Not much. I tell you what, I'm tired. This is 4th of July weekend, so for
It
me,
is.
and I ended up working straight through the weekend, so I've been working since last Sunday. So I'm very tired. I did my best to prepare for this episode as much as I can, but unfortunately I couldn't prepare for as much as I'd like. So you're going to be helping me out a lot on this episode.
Yeah, we had to divide and conquer when it came to just diving into all the stuff we're going to dive into this week, because a lot of the announcements were late week announcements, basically on the Friday right before we shoot on the weekend or so. So we had to kind of rush and get through a bunch of stuff as quickly as we could. Like Steven said, he's a working man, so he had to work.
I mean, like we see a lot of movies, but of course, a lot of times there's a lot of these movies we haven't seen. So we try our best for not only our purposes, for our own information, but for you guys, to help you guys decide on whether you like this stuff or not, or want to purchase this stuff. We try to watch it for you, and we a lot of times do pretty good. But for me this weekend, I mean, Andrew did a great job. I think he went through tons of them Imprint titles, and
Yes.
And I was able to watch a few of the Severin titles, and so I didn't do as much as he did, but we're going to do our best to inform you and get you excited.
Right. And it should be an exciting time, because a lot of these titles are stuff, like we said, we weren't familiar with, so it's kind of like new discoveries.
Yeah.
Which is always exciting. That's the kind of the pleasure or the journey through these boutique labels, is a lot of these releases are stuff you've probably never heard of before, so you kind of have to take a lot of chances, which is a lot funner. It's a lot funner as a collector than just collecting
Just
stuff
what you
you've
know.
already know and seen,
Yeah.
and especially mainstream stuff, which is all stuff that everybody has seen and talked
And I'm
about.
we're not trying to peer pressure anybody into
Besmirch.
blind buying like I do a lot.
Right.
But it is exciting sometimes. It definitely is. But you should spend your money how you can, and let's go ahead and get started.
Yes, we're gonna dive in. First, we'll take a sweet dive into our good old friends at Kino Lorber Studio
Kino.
Classics. We didn't do anything when it came to their releases last time, because we had a super packed episode of talking about all things Severin and all kinds of cool stuff in our last episode, our super duper extended episode. But now let's get it back to our old friend Kino. And first up here is a movie called The Hunter Will Get You, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo, which of course I'm always down for some more Jean-Paul Belmondo.
You are.
Next up is A Full Day's Work, which is getting a 4K restoration, if that's going to kind of push people to getting it. And then we have a movie called Puffin' Stuff, which is a hell of a title, I'll have to say. These are all like
HR
kind
Puffin
of
stuff.
Yeah, I know. These are all like 70s titles.
Yeah.
Which is very much in Kino's wheelhouse. Next up is a movie called Lucky Luciano, which is getting a 4K restoration, which is kind of really cool. I think it's about
That's a cool cover.
the gangster.
I really like the artwork on that one. It's a bunch of gangster.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a painting, kind of similar to that Mona Lisa, from Criterion that just got released.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of that kind of. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as sexy as that one, but it's kind of got that watercolors painting aspect, and you got like gangsters in silhouette shooting at some guy on the ground. He's obviously dead, and they're still shooting at him.
Yeah.
He's not Lucky anymore.
Yeah, it's like Lucky Luciano was a like a mafia boss.
Yeah.
In like early 20th century stuff. Like we're talking like 20s, 30s, 40s, in that Al Capone type era and all that kind of stuff. I basically know him just because of watching Boardwalk Empire.
Okay.
The
Steve
Martin Scorsese
Buscemi.
produced show after HBO. There was a character on there. It was someone portraying Lucky Luciano.
Okay.
Moving into something completely different than gangsters is Come September with Rock Hudson and Gina Lollobrigida from 1961. I'll get anything when it comes to Rock Hudson. I'm starting my Rock Hudson collection now, basically. So I'll probably be looking into that.
Kino also put out a set of his films.
Yes,
Yeah.
a Rock Hudson set as well. And there's also a set of his and Doris Day's work as well. You can buy them individually or you can buy them together. But always down for more Rock Hudson. And then we move on to, I believe, the 1980s, 1981, with The Pursuit of D.B. Cooper. And this stars Robert Duvall and Treat Williams. And yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be that famous story about D.B. Cooper.
Yeah.
Stole all that money and disappeared, I guess.
I mean, I wonder if this is the truth. I mean, I just haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
Who knows? I like the poster, though.
Yeah, it's a cool
got that
poster.
Very
yeah.
80s kind of caricature type poster where D.B. Cooper jumping out of a plane and all the money's flying out of his
Like
bag.
he's looking at you. He's looking at you through the poster, like, I got it.
He's winking at. He's almost like winking at you, giving you the thumbs up. I love it. And next, we move to a movie called Illustrious Corpses, also known as The Context, from 1976.
I like The Context better
than Illustrious Corpses.
I don't know. I guess I need to know what the movie's about, but
True.
I mean that illustrious is not a like it's that's kind of a big word for a title like this. I don't know why. I don't know why it seems off. I don't know, but
yeah, I want to know why these corpses are illustrious.
Well,
like, what makes them so special?
I guess we need to see the movie then.
Yeah, this is an Italian film, I believe, from 1976, getting a 4K restoration, which is really cool. Yeah, I don't know much about it myself.
Hey, guess what? Alex Cox is doing a commentary on it.
Yeah, I did see that. New audio commentary by filmmaker.
He's just doing special features for movies now. You can go make movies anymore.
I guess that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, he loves movies.
Obviously. He must like. If this movie has his stamp of approval, I guess I gotta see it eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
And let's move on to another film, and this film is called Story of a Woman from 1970. And this film is particularly interesting to me because it's starring B.B. Anderson, who I believe is the same B.B. Anderson who was in a bunch of Ingmar Bergman's work.
Okay.
So that's why I'm down. Also starring Robert Stack, who I think recently passed away over the last couple of years. So yeah, I'm definitely cool with that. And this is a Code Red Kino Lorber team up release. That's really cool. So next one is going way back to 1932 with Devil in the Deep, starring Tallulah Bankhead, Gary Cooper, Cary Grant, and Charles Lawton. Hello, that's a cast.
That's a cast, yeah.
That's a cast and a half. And once again, more 1930s Gary Cooper stuff from Kino Lorber. Yeah, and I think 1932, so this may be a pre-code film.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah, you can... I'm definitely looking forward to that. And the next one is Change of Habit from 1969, starring Elvis Presley and Mary Tyler Moore. I think Ed Asner's in this movie as well. I'll talk about that. That's a pre-Mary Tyler Moore show team up between Mary Tyler Moore and Ed Asner.
She's playing a nun.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And this is one of those Elvis films. I know some people like his films, some people don't, I guess. I don't. It really all depends on...
I've honestly never gotten...
I haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen many of them myself. And I think... Paramount Presents put out one. And Paramount put one out in their Paramount Presents line.
Okay.
Early on. It was like one of their first releases. Was an Elvis film. But next up, and their most recent announcement was just a movie coming in October. Movie from 1933. It's called Torch Singer, starring Claudette Colbert, which, once again, more Claudette Colbert's getting released. There's been a been a bit of a run on her stuff recently. 1933, yet again, still in that same almost pre-code era type realm.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Claudette Colbert, give me more of It Happened One Night. So that's all from Kino Lorber Studio Classics over the last 2 weeks or so. Nothing, not a lot of stuff from their usual run, but
Yeah.
still good, still
right.
interesting, and they're still also running what's their summer swoon sale. June swoon going to July 14th, and so if you hear this episode before July 14th, head over to their site and see what you can find. And they're also doing their same, like, what's the one where it's like buy it before it's gone sale?
While supplies last.
Yeah, basically that sale's been going on for what, a year,
Yeah.
maybe 2 years
Yeah.
now. They're basically just like buy it so we can get rid of it sale.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling it. But Steven, now we move on to a company we haven't talked about much of here on the show, but they've been around for a while.
Oh yeah.
And that is Blue Underground.
Yeah, Blue Underground. They announced a few releases. Nothing, I think, with much detail. But that these are going to come out early next year. But we got 3 different titles that were brought up. The first one is a film directed by Larry Cohen, which, if you know Larry Cohen, he's done a lot of genre stuff. I think he wrote the Alive for It's Alive.
Okay.
So he's a well known in that genre. But this movie's called God Told Me, and this is written directed by Larry Cohen. And I haven't watched this one yet, but I almost got a chance. I was going to watch this one, but it's available in streaming. But it's the synopsis is: a New York detective investigates a series of murders committed by random New Yorkers who claim that God told them to. So I think that's a cool premise. So I'm interested in checking it out. Definitely. You know anything about this film?
No, not at all. It sounds like the same concept of Frailty.
Okay.
The Bill Paxton directed film starring Matthew McConaughey. Underrated film.
Yeah.
Basically, this idea of like hearing these voice that you think are God telling you to do stuff.
Yeah, I get a sense that this is maybe going to be a little bit more on the slockier side.
Oh, okay.
Just based off of I watched the trailer and I watched look at this poster. It looks like it's a little bit more like in the B horror, B movie kind of side, not so much. Obviously Frailty is like it's more of a serious,
Yes.
story. I think this is going to be a little bit more on the B movie side, but I definitely want to watch it. So, but the next title we have is one I did actually get a chance to watch, and it's called The Toolbox Murders.
Ooh.
And The Toolbox Murders is directed by Dennis Donnelly. And basically you have this guy who, the movie starts out kind of from the killer's point of view. You don't see him, but you see him. He's like driving through the city, and he goes into this apartment complex and just starts killing people. And he kills everybody. It's usually young women. And he kills them all with like a different tool in his toolbox. Now there's more to the story. I don't want to give away the whole plot, but yeah, there's some gruesome stuff in here. I think this, if I'm remembering correctly, this is one of the Video Nasties, one of the films that was banded
Yes.
over in the UK initially when it came out, and then it eventually got back out later. But it's got some very definitely violent kills. But I enjoyed myself. It wasn't maybe the greatest thing I've seen, but it's got some enjoyability. You heard anything about this?
No. It reminds me of what was that? Was it Slumber Party Massacre?
Okay.
Because the guy, I think it's Slumber Party Massacre. Don't quote me on this, horror fans. But because there was a killer who was using a drill.
Yeah.
To kill like young women at a slumber party. That's the title of the movie.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that.
Okay.
And also, I just want to point out these are 4K UHD releases.
Yes.
And they had released these films before on Blu-ray years ago, like I said, Blue Underground's been around for a while. I remember seeing their stuff coming out like a decade ago
Yeah.
or older. They've been around for a while, and they've predominantly been putting out horror movies.
Yeah.
Like they were like kind of the before you had Scream Factory, or any of these other companies that are kind of around now or have more prominence. Blue Underground was kind of putting out a lot of horror stuff. Here stateside. Arrow's been around for a long time, but they were in the UK. But over here was where it's Blue Underground was putting out a lot of horror stuff, like Argento and Fulci,
Yeah.
all that stuff that's now more prominent. So yeah, go on.
Awesome. And the
Because
last
we have a third one.
Yeah, and the last one here is a movie called Goodbye Uncle Tom. And
Yeah, yes it is.
yeah, and this is this is kind of an interesting premise. A very controversial movie, I think, for its time. Probably still pretty controversial. The synopsis is two documentary filmmakers go back in time to the pre-Civil War America South to film the slave trade. So this is
Nothing controversial about that
Yeah, so
whatsoever. Nothing.
I have a feeling this is going to be very exploitative. I don't know. It seems like there's no good that can come from this, Andrew.
I mean, yeah. Look at the poster for this. You'll understand. You'll understand yeah. It's let me read this description for you. It was advertised as the first motion picture based on historical facts about the
Jesus.
rise and revolt of slavery in America. It became one of the most reviled and misunderstood films of its time.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I mean, look, I give it a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll buy it, but I'll try to watch it, and I'll give it a chance. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm assuming this movie has. Holy crap! There's some of these pull quotes are kind of bananas. Like one of them says like the Detroit Chronicle hailed it as graphic, moving, nerve paralyzing film. Legendary film critic Pauline Kael called it the most specific and rabid incitement of the race war. Oh my god! It is the complete 123-minute English version of Goodbye Uncle Tom, fully restored from the original vault negatives, loaded with incredible extras, and now presented totally uncut and uncensored. Yeah, this is exploitation to the max.
Yeah.
I would say. But yeah,
Okay.
that is Goodbye Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
And this is getting a 4K UHD release as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exploitation in its
It's most pristine.
highest quality.
Yeah.
Literally.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, we'll
now-
move on to another one you just brought up. Another label, Synaps, is
Yes.
another
This
another
isn't
label.
even. This is another label that we've never really delved into much, because they don't release a lot in abundance typically. But Synaps has been around for a while as well, but definitely more prominent over the last few years for me. And they're in the same kind of world as Severin, as Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
They're in this kind of realm a bit. I know them specifically for releasing Dario Argento's Suspiria on Blu-ray for the first time here
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, and then re-releasing it in 4K recently as well. And that's the only film I have from them.
I recently picked up that Bruce Campbell film. That was it. Time.
yes.
What is it called? It's the one where Bruce Campbell gets out of prison, and then as soon as he gets out of prison, he robs a bank.
It happens. It's not called Popcorn, I can tell you
It's
that.
not Popcorn. Come on, Andrew, help me.
Oh, Running Time.
Running Time. Thank God, I knew it had
There it
time in the
is.
title.
I had to go look up
But
all the
it's
releases.
like a movie that's supposed to be shot like in a continuous shot. It was pretty good. They recently released that a few months back ago.
Yeah, they've released movies like Tenebrae, which is another Argento film.
Didn't they do Maniac Cop like back in the day?
Yeah, the Maniac Cop movies. They're releasing those in 4K UHD edition as well.
Blue Underground's releasing the first. They're doing 2 and 3 in 4K.
Oh, it's crazy how those are split up. But they released movies like, Frankenhooker and Basket Case.
Yeah.
I think that's them, and all the Basket Case sequels. Maybe, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Well, I mean, like we've talked about, it's all split up. Like I think Arrow's
Yeah,
got the
everybody's split
UK release of Basket Case, and
That's a movie.
Like I have
My
Maniac
goodness.
Cop from Arrow, but it's the UK,
Okay.
version. Yeah.
I mean, this is. I mean, that's a heck of a segue, because the movies we're talking about that they're releasing is a 4K UHD digipack 2 film edition of Demons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And glad you brought up Arrows because Arrow recently released them in 4K, uh, in a limited edition version as well as a standard edition version because the limited editions were so popular,
Yeah.
they sold out so quickly. But Arrow has the licensing in Region B land, and Synaps has it here in the U.S. in Region A land, typically. So, plenty of demons to go around, as they say.
Well, I mean, look, both of us haven't seen the second one, but we saw the first one, and
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it really is a fun movie. Lucio Fulci, if I'm saying it wrong, but
Well, it was Lamberto Bava directed Demons.
oh yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong person.
Yeah, who is the son of Mario Bava,
Yeah.
who of course was in that Italian era of
Yes.
horror films in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, Mario Bava's a gigantic name.
Wrong Italian director.
Yeah, wrong Italian horror director from the same exact era.
Yeah.
But yeah, Demons is a hell of a lot of fun. Great special effects work, kind of entertaining 80s movie with an amazing 80s soundtrack.
Yeah.
Of just like the hits of hit rock bands and metal bands at the time.
It's got tons of music from that time. I'm excited to watch it. I'm still deciding whether I want to buy this because it is like a $50 purchase for 2 movies and really just one movie because apparently the second one's not great.
No.
But I do want to see it in a more pristine version because I do like the first movie. Because some of them effects are really cool, and I do like.
I'm guessing
the idea of the movie's cool. So
yeah, I don't know if it's more cost effective for them to release them both in one set as opposed to individually.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I think,
or maybe they just figure nobody's gonna buy the second movie.
Maybe that could be it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the popularity of the second movie, but I know the first one's much beloved amongst horror fans.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm very curious about the set, and the set is coming pretty loaded with stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys definitely talk about getting your money's worth. So let's go through these.
You don't have. I mean, we don't have to go through all these. I mean,
I think it's important for people to know what they're getting, what they're spending their money on.
Sure.
Yeah, there's 2 versions of the film. There's the original, full-length original cut in English and Italian, and the shorter U.S. version featuring alternate dubbing and sound effects. With typical Italian horror films, there's a lot of bad dubbing going on out there. Uncompressed DTS HD master English and Italian audio in 5.1 and 2.0 audio mixes. And then there's uncompressed DTS HD master audio 2.0 for the US theatrical mono release. Yeah, I don't know, I botched that pretty badly. Uncompressed DTS HD master English 2.0 US theatrical mono audio newly remastered in 2021. That's a lot of way to describe that. There's new audio commentary by critics Kat Ellinger, who we see a lot. Heather Train, co-host of the Hell's Bells podcast. That's a great title for a podcast. Audio commentary with director Lamberto Bava, special effects artist Sergio Stivoletti, composer Claudio Simonetti, and actress Goretta. Produced by Dario Argento, a new visual essay by author and critic Michael Mackenzie exploring the legendary filmmaker's career as producer. Dario's Demon Days interview with writer-producer Dario Argento, Defining an Era in Music interview with Claudio Simonetti, Splatter Spaghetti Style interview with longtime Argento collaborator Luigi Cozzi, Carnage at the Cinema, Lamberto Bava and his splatter masterpiece, Dario and Demons producing Monster Mayhem, Monstrous Memories, Luigi Cozzi on Demons, Profundo Jones, The Critical Perspective, Splatter Stunt Rock interview with Ottaviano Dell'Acqua.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I know. Stivoletti Q&A at the 2019 UK Festival of Fantastic Films, original Italian and English international trailers, US theatrical trailer, newly translated optional English subtitles for the English version, new translated English subtitles for the Italian version. That's all on disc 1 for Demons.
Yes.
There's a second disc, obviously, with Demons 2. I'm glad they put it on 2 discs.
Yes.
So you get, just to not go over the same stuff again, you get the same exact audio specifications on both discs.
Yeah.
But this one has a new audio commentary by film critic Travis Crawford. Bava da Bava, an interview with Luigi Cozzi on the history of Italian horror. Creating Creature Carnage, interview with Sergio Stivaleti. Demonic influences, Federico's, oh boy, this is a name, Sampaglione.
Dude, you're amazing.
Speaks.
You're amazing.
Yeah. These names. The Demons Generation, Roy Bava discusses a legacy in lacerations. A lot of alliteration here. The New Blood of Italian Horror featuring Sergio Stivaleti. Screaming for a sequel, The Delirious Legacy of Demons 2 with Lamberto Bava. A soundtrack for Splatter, interview with composer Simon Boswell. Together and Apart, a new visual essay on the space and technology in Demons and Demons 2 by author and critic Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. And then original Italian and English theatrical trailers, and then same subtitle specifications. And this is a limited edition, and I think I saw the limited edition
6,000.
6,000. That's right. And the retail price is about $80 right now, but that price is going to go down.
If you go to Diabolic, it's going for $49.99.
Yeah, the Amazon right now is still at the full price. So
yeah, wait for that to drop. It'll drop.
Wait for that to drop.
Yeah.
There is a Blu-ray set, so if you're not 4K capable yet and you just want the Blu-ray set, there is a Blu-ray set with, I believe, the same exact specifications. I don't think there's anything.
Yeah, it looks like it's all the same features and everything.
Yeah, the same. They're both 2 discs and all the same special features. Yeah, there's going to be limited edition. I think slipcovers for these.
Yeah, I would assume.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to try to get the first run of this if you're really into it. So
yeah, both of the films are getting 4K remasters, and no, they're getting new remasters from 4K restorations. Now, I don't know personally if there's going to be any difference in visual quality between this version and the Arrow versions that currently exist. And I don't know when it is comparison to about special features.
Yeah.
Because Arrow tends to kind of produce their own stuff, and then the other companies produce their own stuff. That seems to be the gist of things from what I've seen over the last few years. So, buyer beware in terms of where you want to prefer. I would do some research on that. If you're like trying to choose between the two.
Yeah.
If money's no object to you and you want it all, then buy it all. Go crazy. Go absolutely bananas. So it's all up to you. It does look like, just from a cursory look, it looks like the special feature contents are different.
Okay. Well, I would assume because I would assume the stuff from Arrow's release maybe could have a little bit more going on in it because it is a film that was filmed.
It looks like there is some crossover.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just looking very briefly, like all the names of certain like archival stuff, like Dario's Demon Days, those all cross over. Creating Creature Carnage looks like it crosses over. Like all the translations and subtitles and the new commentary by Travis Crawford that crosses over. So these may be very comparable. But yeah, I would do my research on those just to make sure. So that is that it from Synaps?
That's all.
That's the big ones. Those are the biggies. And for Shout Factory, there's a couple of releases. I know we didn't mention this pre-show. Probably should have. Do you want to mention that they are coming out with 4K UHD editions for Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah,
I think it's just good to mention.
Yeah, it's been kind of leaked
been talked
out
about
a
by
little
people.
early by some people and now it's been officially kind of announced. I think today by Shout Factory that they're putting out 4K single releases of all these of the first 5.
The first 5
so
of the Halloween series, and They're coming out, I think, late September, September 28th. I think I saw, which
Okay.
is right in time for the Halloween season, right in time for the new Halloween movie that's coming out,
Yeah.
Halloween Kills. So they're really taking advantage of that. I mean, some cover art did come out today. Whether it's official or non-official cover art, I don't think we're quite sure, but people have been talking about it, so it's worth to mention. Also, I'm just a big Halloween fan in general, because I own these movies over and over again because they keep releasing them.
Yeah.
Every couple of years, they keep releasing them. I don't know. I have no idea when it comes to special features if they're going to be the same ones that are already on the current uh, releases of those movies from Shout/Scream Factory, but yeah, I would assume they are.
Yeah,
That's just
I would
my
assume.
assumption.
I mean, they put them out so quickly that I don't know that they have time to do any new features.
Yeah, I'm assuming they would just carry over from
Yeah.
the other releases.
Yeah, I have the
Um,
standard kind of like re-release of the set from Shout Factory.
yeah, I was telling Steven, I own those movies way more than I think anyone probably should. Especially the first one, because they re-release the new one of that every couple of years. But I've been holding off because there's already a 4K UHD release of the first film, Halloween, put out by Lionsgate, I believe.
Yeah.
So for those of you who already own that one, this I don't know if you're going to want to
There's
buy
some
it yet again in the
there's
same
some
format.
a lot of we've talked about it before, like a lot of double, triple, quadruple dipping, of these some titles, man. It's getting maybe a little ridiculous. But I guess that some of these companies really feel like that
Wait a
they
minute.
can make some dough in 4K. I mean, some companies are kind of pushing forward with 4K, and other companies are staying away from it.
The irony is I see a lot more 4K pushing being done in the boutique label world right now.
Yeah. And funny enough, the smaller companies are the ones pushing the 4K.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Which is
even in for the boutique world, like the bigger boutique labels are not doing it as much as the smaller ones are. I feel like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Arrow is a big one, but like Criterion's not doing any 4Ks yet.
I don't know. They're missing. I think their window for diving into the 4K is like not closing, but it's like we're into it
Well,
now.
they're known for
We're
being
in
a
the
little
we're in the end
behind,
game now.
little behind
Yeah,
on,
yeah. We're in the middle of the, you know what I mean? Like 4K is here now. It's not like, hey, it's coming. No, we're in the middle of the wave.
yeah,
So if you want to jump on board the boat, now's the
yeah,
time. Um, but yeah, Shout Factory's putting those out, but they're also putting out two other films, Alone in the Dark and Elvira's Haunted Hills.
yeah.
And there's no real specifications on either of those when it comes to features. All we got is did we get
It's the end.
release
Of,
info
it's
on
somewhere
those?
into September. I think it's like the 22nd or
Okay, yeah, I think one is like the 14th and the other one is like the week after.
yeah. Now, Alone
When
in
it
the
com-
Dark, I was looking into this.
Okay.
It's directed by Jack Shoulder. He directed the second Freddy movie,
Oh,
and he also directed a movie I really like called The Hidden. It's got Kyle MacLachlan in it, and it's a cool like B movie about like this alien parasite that comes to Earth and like keeps attaching to different people and like just running rampant. In I think they're in L.A. if I'm not mistaken. And Kyle MacLachlan, I don't want to. Well, I can't really talk about it, but
yeah, don't
basically,
spoil
he
it.
plays like an FBI agent, and he teams up with another act. I can't remember who the actor is, but another like a local cop, to go get this parasite alien dude. So, but it's good. It's I really enjoyed it. I think Warner Archive put it out. But yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like a blue and green cover, and you see like half of a face, and it's like normal, and the other half of the face is like alien, like. But it's a cool movie. So Jack Shoulder did this Alone in the Dark film, and it's the movie's about a quartet of murderous psychopaths break out of a mental hospital during a power blackout and lay siege to their doctor's home. So, yeah, seems like a cool like kind of B horror movie. It's got Jack Palance in it. It's got Martin Landau in it. Donald Pleasance is in the film, so it's got a cool cast. But
Oh yeah, I'm definitely interested. I was just looking up Jack Shoulder. Yeah, that movie Hidden. Yeah, I know The Hidden.
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah. Now that I see the poster,
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he's done mostly looks like horror films. Yeah, you said he did the second Nightmare on Elm Street film,
Yeah.
which is probably the more interesting of many of the sequels, in my opinion. But he did this film right before he did that film, so it's like Alone in the Dark is actually his first feature film.
Yeah. Yep.
He did Alone in the Dark, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and then The Hidden, all back to back to back, in the early to late '80s. Actually, more like early to mid '80s. Um, yeah, but he's mostly done television work
Yeah.
after that.
He did a
Looks
couple.
like.
He's done some TV movies. He did an Omen TV movie.
Yeah, I completely missed that.
yeah.
'95.
He also did Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies.
Yes. Yeah, which I think was straight to video, circa
Yeah.
1999. He also did Tremors, the TV series from 2003.
Oh, so
Which
he
no
did the
one
pilot
remembers.
for that.
Must have done something. Yeah. The episode he did was called Shriek and Destroy. What brilliant. Yeah, he did the 13th episode, which, because I think that series only had one season.
Okay.
Yeah, he did the I guess series finale in quotes of that Tremors TV series. I was just remembering that because they were supposed to do another Tremors TV series a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
With Kevin Bacon. They brought the Bacon back, and apparently you can. I don't know how you can see that pilot episode, but I think it's available out there somewhere.
Isn't it not on the Arrow release?
I think it is.
I think it's on that 4K Arrow Tremors
But
release.
the irony is, I actually did a review for that on my channel of that release.
You should know.
And I should probably know this. Well, I did it like 2 months ago, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. I
time's a
I
little
forget
crazy.
things as soon as I learn them.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you do those reviews, you're just kind of reading off
Sometimes,
all the info.
yeah,
and
when
then
you're
once,
doing stuff like
once
that,
you get it out there,
yeah,
it's gone.
you have to.
Gone,
Yeah,
baby.
it's like a computer. You got to erase stuff off the hard drive, and sometimes you don't retain things. It's
Yeah,
okay.
there's only so many movie facts you can remember.
Yeah,
for
some
this
people
stuff.
some people prioritize that stuff, and me, I can't. That's why I never do trivia stuff, because I just can't. My mind doesn't
Retain
work
it?
that way. I don't watch movies to learn minute facts about movies. I watch movies for the broader sense of them,
You know what's crazy? Ironically, when it comes to movie facts and movie trivia, I don't typically learn it by watching the movies. I typically learn it by kind of actually quote unquote researching the
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Like if I go to IMDb or something like that. Unless it's a famous, if it's
Sure.
Martin Scorsese, kind of know like, hey, this is a Martin Scorsese movie, or
Yeah.
hey, this is a Stanley Kubrick movie.
Yeah.
Like the big ones. But yeah, we're getting off track in more minute ways.
Yeah.
Let's get back on track with Elvira. In Elvira's Haunted Hills, which is a movie from 2001, like we said, is getting a release. So that first film, Alone in the Dark, is coming out September 14th, and this is coming out September 28th, which I think is that same date I was just talking about with the Halloween movies. So
Yeah.
it's all Halloween related stuff. And this, yeah. So do you have any info on this?
No, I to be honest with you, I was looking at it and I was like, this doesn't interest me.
Well, I'm a fan of Elvira.
Never gotten into it, so
Yeah, it's a very kind of horror fandom niche type stuff. She's had several of her the movies have come out through several different labels. I think Arrow just had like a special edition release of one of her stuff. And I know she shows up at like horror conventions and things
Sure.
like that. She's very popular. The actress who plays Elvira, Cassandra Peterson. Yeah, so this is, like I said, this is coming out late September. It's starring Cassandra Peterson. Scott Atkinson is in it. Yeah. I love how the description here, just the hills are alive with the screams of laughter. Oh, man. Elvira's back in an all-new adventure with her ample anatomical assets. Wow, that's a big thing to say. That, yeah, there's a big black bouffant, which is her hair, her iconic look, and hilarious one-liners. The Mistress of the Dark knocks him dead in this side-splitting spoof that equal parts Austin Powers and Young Frankenstein add a dash of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and you've got the bust out movie of the century. Oh,
Yeah, okay,
who wrote that?
they
That's
might be
genius.
over cat.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you gotta sell it. You gotta
they
sell it.
obviously are trying
Um,
to.
yeah, it's yeah. So there's a whole description here for it. I don't think you need me to read the whole
Yeah,
thing, but this is getting a collector's edition through Shout Factory. So when it comes to special features, it's got to be a little bit significant. Um, yeah,
yeah.
so that's interesting. Great cover art too. Really like a nice painted cover art. So moving on from there,
We'll head over to Second Sight.
Second Sight with an interesting release.
Yes,
Not
this.
necessarily a release I think we need right now, but whatever.
Yeah,
Let's roll.
they seem to have some deals getting a lot more. I would say modern horror films and things like they've done like, I mean maybe not necessarily all in the horror genre, but kind of in the maybe like the thriller or the like they did Nightingale. They put out like
Ooh.
Upgrade.
Oh yes.
Well, they're doing the Babadook coming out here soon, so like
Yeah, I think that got delayed, didn't it, for a little bit?
yeah, just a little bit. It should start going out, I think, by the end of this month. But so they've been getting their hands on a lot more modern stuff, and in this case, they have announced that on August 30th, they're putting out a limited edition release of Paranormal Activity, the first one, just the first one, and yeah, I mean, look, it's a cool looking set. It's like in the same kind of rigid case that they put a lot of their limited stuff in. It looks like it's gonna have like some poster art, not poster, but like cards, poster cards, and it looks like a nice little set. But I think, as you said at the beginning, I don't know that this is really necessary. But I guess if you're a really big fan of Paranormal Activity, you might want this. I mean, Andrew, are you gonna get this?
Yeah. No. I don't think so. Just because, I mean, if you're going to get a Paranormal Activity movie, I would say the first one's the best one to own. Some people do love these movies. I'm not really interested in. I have it on Blu-ray already. I'm not really interested in getting it. If anything, just for my kind of, specific, the way in which I collect things. If I start a series of something, I gotta finish the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I would just get the rest of the ones that I don't have, which is all of the sequels,
Yeah.
essentially. But this is coming with new special features, which is, I guess, may push people in getting it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so you do get an audio commentary by Oren Peli, who is the director, and you also get an audio commentary by Mary Beth McAndrews and Terry Mesnard. Breaking Normal, a new interview with Oren Peli, so you get a new interview with the director. I don't know if he did the sequels or not, or how involved he is with the sequels. I'd have to look that up. But you get the marked one, a new interview with Katie Featherston, who was, I guess you could say, the main character in this movie. The movie really only had two characters. The Man with the Camera, a new interview with Micah Slout. The Possessed, a new interview with Ashley Palmer. Alternative ending. The festival cut ending. Deleted scene and then English subtitles for the hearing impaired. And Steven, did you watch this movie when it was in theaters back in 2007?
I'm pretty sure I did.
I know I did, because I remember the hype around this movie,
Yeah.
where people were freaking out. People were scared as heck in the movie theater while watching this, and then like getting home and being still super scared. If this movie came out in '07, I was like 20 years old.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm sure I did. I was working at a movie theater at the time. So.
Yeah, so you must have been. There's no way you missed out on this gem. And then its sequels, unfortunately, I kind of gave up on after the third one, because I was like, it was just kind of repetitive, and it was that found footage era.
Well, it kind of revived it.
Gusto.
It revived it in a way.
Yeah, it revived it, and then subsequently, like, it lost its
Oomph.
its oomph after a few years.
Yeah.
Because I think they're still doing stuff with this franchise.
Dude,
actually.
I think it's been announced
like
that they're going to
15 years.
reboot it, or they're going to like do another sequel. I think soon.
Yeah, 'cause
like
it's been-
the Saw series. This was like a normal Halloween release for like every year. Like every year, another one
Yes.
would come out.
Yeah, it's been 14 years, and what's interesting is that this is not like an anniversary release or anything. Like next year would be 15 years.
Yeah.
This year's 14 years, which is not really an anniversary anyone celebrates. Um, but but it's interesting. It's interesting. It is a bit of a phenomenon, but yeah, I'm good. I'm good with what I've got.
Yeah.
So, do you want to get into now? Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of our episode, and this would be the Severin stuff.
Yes. Severin.
This is Steven. Steven went deep diving.
Wow,
into
I don't know
Severin
about
land.
deep diving. I was kind of. I don't even know how to swim.
was trying
I don't
to
even know how to
oversell it there.
swim, Andrew. So it's like I
yeah,
was.
you
I
were in a-
definitely had my floats on, but
Yeah, you were in the nut. What's the deep end of the pool these days? Like
at
10
4
feet,
feet,
9
4
feet?
feet for me. That's the deep end for me.
I'm not a swimmer.
Yeah, I'm not a
a
swimmer.
swimmer.
Yeah. But yes, Severin titles have been announced for September.
Indeed.
And of course, if you didn't know, go check out episode 10 where we had post production supervisor Andrew Furtado on, or Andrew number 2 as we call him.
Indeed.
He
Great episode.
Yeah, and so a little bit of cool behind the scenes. One of these releases, I actually got a chance to watch the newest scan of. And I guess we'll use as the first movie we'll talk about in the slate, which is Drop Dead Fred. It's a film from, I think, 1991, and it stars Phoebe Cates and the late, Rick Mayall. And he's a British actor, very popular British actor, and this was kind of like his only film, I think, from in America. I think primarily just stayed overseas, but I'm not too familiar with his career. I just know he was a very popular comedic actor. But yeah, Andrew Furtado allowed me to check out their new scan of this film, and it looks great. And I really enjoyed the movie. I think I saw it as a kid. It's one of them things I feel like I must have saw on TV at some point. But basically, it's about Phoebe Cates plays a young adult who, when she was a kid, she kind of had an imaginary friend, and kind of was obsessed with that imaginary friend, and it kind of like annoyed her parents, especially her mom, and then she gets older and her life's kind of going to crap, and when it goes to full, rock bottom, then her imaginary friend, Drop Dead Fred, shows up again and starts kind of like wreaking havoc on her adult life. So it's got some adult humor in it, but I think it's definitely a movie that I think kids could watch. Some of the stuff will go over their heads. Have you seen Drop Dead Fred?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember like you can. I may have saw it when I was a kid and just don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
Just rewatching the trailer, it looks kind of familiar.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that actually Carrie Fisher is in the film as well.
Yes.
The late great Carrie Fisher. And yeah, once again, Severin is going all out when it comes to their release. It's getting a new 2K scan and new special features too.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got they got a booklet with new text interview with actress Phoebe Cates, and Phoebe Cates is basically dropped out of the business. Like she so she doesn't really do interviews or anything. I was listening to the Severin podcast and they were talking about this. That it was pretty cool that they were able to at least get a written interview with her. That shows how much she kind of like enjoyed her time on this film. But yeah, they got a new text interview with actress Phoebe Cates. Got a audio commentary with director 8D Jung. I'm assuming I'm saying that right. A conversation with director 8D Jung and producer Paul Webster. We got Imaginary Friends. Interviews with co-writers and executive producers Anthony Fingleton and Carl Davis. We got Mischief Makers. Interviews with visual effects artist Doug Beswick, Peter Curran, Kevin Kalthaver, Paul Gentry, and makeup effects artist Christopher Johnson. We got Memories of a Snot Face. That's a great title. Interview with actress Ashley Peldon. And you got deleted scenes and outtakes and a trailer. And your specs, you got a aspect ratio of 1851, English stereo, closed captions, and region A. So yeah, I mean, apparently this is a kind of a favorite of Severin's owner, David Gregory. So this was a big get for him. So I'm excited to get the disc. I enjoyed the movie, and like I said, the scan was great. So I'll be getting this. I'll be picking this up. But the next movie in their slate here, we got another film from Carol Baker, and if you know Carol Baker from Severin, we got that Lindsay Baker set. But both me and Andrew actually just recently got finally.
We did.
And this is another film that stars Carol Baker. It's called The Fourth Victim.
Great cover art.
Yeah, great cover. So this doesn't have much in the sense of features. It does have a new 2K scan from the original negative. We got Eugenio Martin, a tour, an interview with Eugenio Martin's biographer, Carlos Aguirre, deleted scenes in a trailer. So not much in the sense of features, but the film does look interesting, and I do like Carol Baker. Anything on this film, Andrew?
No, I really wanted to see this movie before the episode, but I could not find this anywhere to watch. I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. And I like the concept. This idea that this guy's wives keep mysteriously dying on him.
Yeah.
And he, I think, is blamed for their death. And then a fourth wife comes along, and I think it's Carol Baker, and she's like suspicious about like why his previous wives had died. I think that's the premise. It's reading it right here is like it's like, so a wealthy British playboy who's Oscar nominee Michael Craig of The Dark co-stars in the 1971 Italian/Spanish co-production. No, I'm losing my mind here. Co-stars in the Italian by Eugenio Martin, and basically, whose three previous wives met with suspiciously accidental deaths. So I was right. So this one may be the fourth one, and is Carol Baker. There is a trailer for this release as well. That's really cool with Severin. Is if you go to Severin's YouTube channel, they have trailers. The trailers are not only for the movies, but trailers are for the releases of the movie. So you get
a glimpse of the new scan.
You get a glimpse of what you're gonna pay for, which is really unique. I don't see a lot of other companies doing that in terms of like kind of really selling you on their release specifically, not just the movie, but the release as well.
Yeah.
But I really want to see this movie. I kind of want it now that I have the Lindsay Carol Baker set.
Yeah.
The Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker set, because it's like, if I have those four Carol Baker movies, I gotta get another one.
Man.
You know what I mean? I'm starting a Carol Baker collection.
That means if you get any Jess Franco from Severin, that means you're just gonna feel the need to get the rest of them.
Gotta get them all. That's how my collecting brain works.
Yeah.
It's like once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Pringles?
Nice.
I was talking about that the other day.
Thanks for making me hungry.
I was talking about that the other day. It's like you don't see that commercial anymore. Maybe because like it's you can like once you pop, it's kind of
what are you doing right now? Why are you talking about Pringles?
Riffing. I don't know Pringles, man. I haven't had them in a
we don't
good
get paid
long
by
time.
Pringles, by the way.
I wish.
Yeah.
Imagine. Just give me a truckload of Pringles. I'm good.
No, we need money. All right. The next release in their slate is a film called Midnight, and this is written and directed by John Russo, who's kind of part of the George Romero Pittsburgh crew of that time period. So there's a cool connection there. And this has some cool features here. We got an interview with writer-director John Russo. We got an interview with producers Samuel M. Sherman. Interview with actor John Amplis. Interview with special effects artist Tom Savini, which is cool. We know Tom Savini. He does a lot of great work. I got the trailer, and apparently there's some more special features to be announced. And it's region-free, so you can watch it anywhere.
Right.
But this film is it's about a young woman fleeing her sexually abusive stepfather, and then hitches a ride with two young men. But the three soon find themselves at the mercy of a backwoods Satanist cult. So
Happens.
yeah, well, that happens when you go out
Yeah,
into the woods.
Yeah, did you say that this is getting a 4K scan? Yeah.
It is getting
Yeah, it says now scanned in 4K from the negative, the long-rumored uncut version.
ooh.
Yeah, and the alcoholic father is played by none other than Lawrence Tierney, who was in Reservoir Dogs and in a bunch of other films throughout his career. Interesting. This looks very much in that same vein of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
House of a Thousand Corpses, in that grindhouse vein.
Yeah.
It takes place in the 80s, and actually, John Russo was a co-writer for Night of the Living Dead.
There you
Very
go.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, that cover is also creepy as heck. When the clock strikes death. What a tagline.
That's a great line.
That's a great tagline.
All right. Well,
So next
yeah.
is a Day of Judgment, right?
yeah, I like feeling judged.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I actually got a chance to watch this one, and I'll be honest, I didn't really love it. It was okay. But basically, the movie's about this, I guess you'd say, preacher who kind of comes into town and witnesses kind of like all the bad people in the town. They kind of all kind of commingle, and there's, just showing off all the sinful people. And then out of nowhere, death shows up and starts kind of wreaking havoc on these bad people. And if I'm being honest, it's like 80% like melodrama and like maybe 20% like the horror elements. It's not, I can't say it's terrible. I did watch it in a pretty low resolution, version, but the movie itself, it was okay. Some cool images, but I don't know that I can like put the stamp of approval of like you should definitely buy this. Anything about this release, Andrew?
I mean, the description sounds a lot better than what you're suggesting the film is.
Well, look, every Transformer movie had great trailers, but we know how that
That's
ended
true.
up.
That's true. I mean, you could sell a movie by a description or a trailer, not necessarily going to be what the actual film is about. It is getting now scanned in 2K from the IP for the first time ever. Not much in the way of special features, though.
Yeah,
much.
we got the Atheist Sin interview with author of Nightmare USA, Stephen Thrower, which
Right.
Stephen Thrower, I think, is the one that Andrew number 2 was talking about. He's on a ton of the Jess Franco stuff.
Yes,
I guess
recall.
we would get some really good insight. Maybe he can change my mind.
Yeah.
Maybe, possibly. But we also have another feature, Tales of Judgment, interview with filmmaker Worth Keeter and writer Tom Menite. I don't know.
I think it's McIntyre.
McIntyre, really? Jeez,
Yeah,
that's
that
a
looks
weird
like a way
way.
to spell McIntyre.
I don't like it. I don't like how he spells it.
Yeah, this is region free as well.
Yes, it is. Now, the one cool thing about this particular movie is that it is shot in my state. It was shot in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I thought that was pretty cool. Other than that, movie's okay. It's on the lower end for me.
Gotcha.
But that's it for the Severin releases.
Yeah, you can buy these individually on Severin. What's that? Severin.
Seven Films.
Yeah, SeverinFilms.com, and you can get them individually, or you can buy the bundle for September.
Yeah.
Which puts them all together.
Yeah, right around
And you get a bit of a-
$100, so not too bad.
Yeah, which is a bit of a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now we're moving right along
Into our last label.
Yes, Via Vision or Imprint films, depending on how you like to word it or say it or whatever. But yes, they recently announced their what month are they in now? September.
September.
Their September releases as well. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 releases
Yeah,
for that
they've
month.
been pretty active lately with the big set, the Gong Li.
Yeah, and this one is actually yeah, there's two, technically three sets in this month's
Yeah.
release, in that month's release as well. So I'll just read these three these I'll read them off and then we'll dive into them
Okay.
because this is kind of what I spent my focus on, was
This is going to be a
going
lot of
through these
Andrew
bad
here
boys.
because I haven't even had the chance to look at these.
Yeah, this was very time consuming to get through most of this. First up is the Harry Palmer collection. Then we have the Browning version, the Assassination Bureau, Ned Kelly, big screen British comedy, and then a reflection of fear. The only things that I wasn't able to personally get through in this release was Ned Kelly and the big screen British comedy. Ned Kelly was just tough to find because apparently there's two Ned Kelly films.
Okay.
There's this one I think from like 1970 or so, or 71. And then there's a 2003 one that has Heath Ledger
Yeah.
in it.
I think that's got
That one kept coming up.
I think that got put out by, I want to say maybe a Shout Factory put that
Yeah,
out.
that may have been
maybe?
like a straight up Shout Factory release.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't aware of it. It is an Australian story, and Heath Ledger was from Australia.
Or probably
that
Shout Select is what it
Yeah, it was Shout Select,
Yeah.
actually. It was from 2019, not that long ago. And that movie starred Heath Ledger, Orlando Bloom, Naomi Watts, and Jeffrey Rush. That's a cast.
Yeah.
That's a cast. This one did not. This one starred Mick Jagger. And apparently a miscasted role, apparently from what I've heard. And there it is. And so, but I want to start with the Harry Palmer collection because this is what I dove into first. And this is a set of 3 films. It's a movie called The Imprint File, Funeral in Berlin, and $1 Billion Brain. And these all center around the character of Harry Palmer, portrayed by Michael Caine. And basically, these came out in 1965, 1966, and 1967, and these are spy movies.
Yeah.
And I know what you're thinking. Hey, wasn't James Bond around at the time? Yes, it was. Were they trying to capitalize on the popularity of James Bond?
Probably.
James Bond? Yes, they were. Were they doing it in a particularly good way? Perhaps.
Yeah.
Basically, this is kind of like you take like the frills and the thrills and the exotic locations and the cool stuff that made James Bond at the time. You take up most of that away and bring it down to a more like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy level, more grounded, like
It feels like it might have
spy
been
stuff?
maybe it influenced. When did the conversation come out? Like early 70s?
Yeah, there's like conversation type stuff in here where
Yeah.
people are like doing reconnaissance and listening to like phone taps and
Yeah.
watching microfilm.
Way more on the espionage.
Yeah, way more
area.
espionage than spy,
Yeah.
if you will, if you want to put those in quotes. But not that I didn't enjoy them. I think they're worth watching for Michael Caine. I will say this: the Ipcress File is probably the best of the films out of these. It's definitely the best, and they kind of, I think, go down in quality as you go through them. But I just enjoyed watching Michael Caine be Michael Caine in the '60s.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine.
And also, it's so people know, there are 2 other films with the
Yes.
same character that were released in America in the 90s.
Yes, so like 30 years later, they tried to revive the character.
Yeah.
With Michael Caine, and these were based off of books, just like the James Bond series is. And coincidentally, the first book, the Ipcress File, came out, I think, the same year as Doctor No came out.
Okay.
So Doctor No was a huge hit, being Bond's first movie. So they were like, okay, let's turn this spy movie, this spy book, into a movie franchise as well. And that's what they tried to do. To some success, some not so much. But let's get into this set here. It is a 3-disc set, comes in a hardbox edition with unique artwork, and limited to 2,000 copies, so not that many copies. So you may want to get to this as soon as possible. So this was, it says, based on the Len Deighton's best-selling novel, the realistic landmark spy thriller of espionage and counter-espionage centers on Harry Palmer, an intelligence agent assigned to investigate fears over British security. So first up here is a film produced by 007's Harry Saltzman and music by John Barry. Um, yeah, I'm not going to read all that. So 1080p high definition presentation from the Restore 2K Master. Audio commentary by director Sidney Fury, or Fury? Yeah, Fury, and film editor Peter Hunt. Audio commentary by film historian Troy Howarth and film historian slash filmmaker Daniel Kramer, or Kremer. Michael Caine is Harry Palmer, interview with Michael Caine. The Design File, interview with production designer Ken Adam. New locations report, looking at the London filming locations then and now. A new interview with second assistant director Dennis Johnson Jr. Textless material, U.S. radio commercials, theatrical trailers. Extensive stills gallery, isolated musical score and effect audio track, DTS HD 5.1 surround, and also LPCM 2.0 mono, and then English subtitles.
Hey, they got the audio good.
Yeah, they got some good audio. They got a Restore 2K Master, new special features. We're cooking with gas here.
Is that how you cook?
Yeah,
with gas.
I mean,
that's gross.
You don't have a gas stove? What do you use?
I don't have a gas stove.
I know, I'm old-fashioned, I guess.
Yeah, you are old-fashioned.
But the first film is definitely dealing with, like, espionage, counter-espionage. It's also dealing with, like brainwashing and stuff like that. Like, basically, like, this scientists are getting, like, kidnapped or killed, and he's got to, like, find them and whatnot. It's good.
So
it's
some
really
Manchurian Candidate in there?
Yeah, it's some stuff like that. But what's cool about this first film, I was watching it and I'm like, what's up with this cinematography? Apparently what they were doing is they were shooting in CinemaScope, but I think they were using something called Cinescope, where basically it was like super wide screen presentation to where there was like a massive depth of field. Like you would have 3 people in a scene and they would all be at different depths in the screen just to show off the depth. And they would use and they were also able to use like behind the head shots for like reverse shot cinematography, which I had never seen before. Like there would be somebody talking to a character and you would get the perspective of over the person's shoulder that they were talking to.
Yeah.
Never saw any of this before. So it was like kind of like the first time they were doing that. I thought that was kind of innovative, if anything. I just thought I'd point that out just in case if you see this movie, you're like, why does this look so weird? That's the reason.
Oh, yeah.
And the next one is Funeral in Berlin from 1966. So wait,
a whole movie about a funeral? Jeez.
You think it would be, but it's not. Basically, Harry Palmer is sent to Berlin where he is to extradite a Russian general who wants to defect. But this Russian general wants a criminal to do the extradition because for reasons. I won't say anything else. And then complications ensue, and there's like side stories and whatnot. Basically, this movie's a lot more straightforward and a lot less kind of intricate than the first film, and that's kind of the issue I had with it. It's like you had this cool intricate plot for the first movie, maybe a little slow and a little bit much, but at least it was unique. This one, not so much, and they kind of stripped away the intricacies as these films went along. So this is actually directed by Guy Hamilton, who of course did a bunch of Bond films, including Goldfinger. I almost said Goldmember, but that wouldn't have been right. That would not have been right.
Gold.
Apparently, the Austin Powers character is somewhat based off of the Harry Palmer character, aesthetic-wise.
Okay.
Which I thought was
definitely.
interesting.
Yeah.
With the glasses, typically with the glasses. And coincidentally, Michael Caine is in Austin Powers as Austin Powers' father.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's wearing glasses, I think, as well.
I would assume it's it's supposed to be like a homage.
They have different names. Isn't his character's name Nigel Powers?
Yeah, Nigel Powers. Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel Powers. But this has a 1080p high definition presentation by Paramount Pictures. New audio commentary by Rob Mallows of the Len Deighton dossier from 2021. Archive Len Deighton interview from Afternoon Plus. I think Len Deighton was a producer.
Okay.
For those of you wanting to know. And then documentary Candid Caine from 1969. Then documentary Michael Caine, Breaking the Mold. Caine discusses his life from childhood to stardom from 1994. New interview with editor John Bloom from 2021. Theatrical trailer, stills gallery, isolated music score and effects audio track, and then LPCM 2.0 mono. So that's that. And then we got the weirdest movie called Billion Dollar Brain, which title in and of itself is a little weird. This movie is actually directed by Ken Russell, of
Wow.
all people.
Really?
Who, of course, after this came out in '67, so after this, he would, of course, do The
The Devils,
Devils,
yeah.
which is what he's really well known for. But this film stars Michael Caine, Carl Malden, Ed Begley is in it. I think this is Francoise Dorliac's last film before she tragically passed away in a car accident or something like that. Yeah, so what happens is Harry Palmer is blackmailed into working for MI5 again on his wildest and most dangerous assignment yet as he pits his wits against an insane billionaire and his supercomputer. Basically, like this crazy, lack of a better term, like redneck character from Texas, played by Ed Begley, wants to basically invade Russia through Latvia to like crush communism.
Yeah.
But he's doing it through like a supercomputer.
It sounds like
crazy.
they're trying to get more 007.
More James Bondish.
They're trying to get more 007 as the series goes on.
Yeah, they did. And that's why this is so weird. It has like you would not have thought that Ken Russell directed this movie. It's so crazy. This has a 1080p high definition presentation by MGM, a new audio commentary by film historian Vic Pratt and Will Fowler from 2021, new interview with Rob Mallows of the Len Deighton Dossier from 2021, new interview with cinematographer Billy Williams from 2021, and a new interview with Associated Editor Will Kemplin from 2021. So this is getting the most new content than out of all these releases, coincidentally. Archive excerpt with Michael Caine on This Week, discussing the British film industry from 1969, theatrical trailer, stills gallery, isolated music score and effects audio track, LPCM 2.0 mono, and then English subtitles. Yeah, this was 3 films to go through. Luckily, these films weren't extremely long when it came to their runtime. I think most of them were like between 100 and 110 minutes or so.
Okay. So all under 2 hours. Not too bad.
Yeah, so all under 2 hours. Yeah, and this one's coming out September 29th, so I'm assuming this is their later release. But moving on to the Browning version, and the reason why this is a box set is this is 2 movies called the Browning version, one from 1951, and this one says here 1993, but I think it's actually 1994, at least from all the information I've got.
I see 1994 on the Imprint site.
Really? Because I'm on Imprint as well.
Yeah,
and
it says 94.
1993. Oh.
Yours says 93?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on their shop site. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on their shop site too, and it says 94.
I also want to send you a screenshot. But
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it is from 1994.
Who's right? Who's wrong?
I know. What's going on? But yeah, this is a set with 2 movies. I've watched both of them. Currently, the Browning version from 1951 is available to stream on the Criterion channel because it is actually part of the Criterion collection and is only available on DVD, but it is still in print, so it's not out of print. The first film is stars Michael Redgrave, and Michael Redgrave was in like The Lady Vanishes. I know him prominently from that. This is based on a play from the 40s, and basically it's about a schoolmaster who is about to retire after being at a school it's like a high school or whatever, for like 20 years or so. And basically he has just this really negative reputation for being just boring, stern, straight-laced, just not well beloved because he's just so, straight-lined, if you will. He's a lifelong academic, stuff like that. Basically, his life is kind of like falling apart around him. His marriage is kind of falling apart. His career is going downhill. People don't really like him, and he's kind of like the joke around the school. But he has one last chance at some type of redemption of like character. You know what I mean, or like self-respect, if you will. And so he's going to take it on his last moments at this school. But this edition here is a limited edition hardbox on the first 1,500 copies with unique artwork. And yeah, I watched this 1951 film. I will say this: I highly recommend this movie to every person, to everyone. It's 88 minutes long. The screenplay was done by the original writer of the play itself, and it's just so well done. The
Yeah.
acting, the directing, the writing, the themes are so great. Everything about the movie is damn near perfect. It's really fantastic. Can't recommend it enough.
What's the
So
now?
yeah.
What's the film? Was it A Simple Man? What's the name? What's the A Serious Man? A Serious Man. It kind of sounds like somewhat of like
Oh, the Coen Brothers movie.
yeah, the Coen Brothers movie, A Serious Man. It kind of feels like similar in the sense of like some of its themes and
It's yeah. It reminded me not like Dead Poet Society
uh huh.
because the character of Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society I think is what what the students at the school probably wanted this character to be, and he just never was.
Yeah.
He was the complete opposite of that Robin Williams character, actually.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But it was at the same type of setting of a boarding school, and probably in, I think, England. Yeah, it's definitely in England because at one point they're at like a cricket match, so it's definitely England. You know what I mean? But Michael Redgrave and the character is what's the character's name? It's I'm gonna look it up. It's because the character's name is coincidentally my name, Andrew. So it was like, oh, it's like the movie was speaking to
it's
me
me.
personally. And Michael Redgrave is probably the best career performance I've ever seen from him. Yeah, it's Andrew Crocker Harris. That was his name. And the actress who played his wife in the film was so brilliant. She's so ice cold and unforgiving and mean, and just really just grinds this man into the ground. It's cool. This movie's amazing, but let me get to the deets here. 1080p high definition 2K presentation, new audio commentary with film historians Joe Boding and Melanie Williams from 2020. New video appreciation by journalist, broadcaster, and author Matthew Sweet from 2021. Theatrical trailer, audio in English, LPCM 1.0, and then English subtitles. Yeah, like I said, it's a brilliantly well done film. Just really complex, complete, tight. 88 minutes. It says everything and so much more. And then we have the 1994 version, which is 90 minutes long, and and felt like it was missing certain key components to make the film as compelling as its original adaptation.
Yeah.
Not that, I'm solely comparing it to the original, but if you see the two, you'll understand why. This film stars Albert Finney in the title role of Andrew Crocker Harris. This film also stars
Matthew
Modine
Yeah.
is in the role of kind of this younger teacher that all the kids love. He's kind of the foil of the Andrew Crocker Harris character, and it's a lot happening. But this movie's also directed by Mike Figgis, and we're about to play a game here. Mike Figgis directed Leaving Las Vegas, which of course starred
Oh my God.
of course starred the one and only
Nicolas
Cage,
Cage.
who won his Oscar for his performance in that movie. And Steven's
Oh,
a
thank God.
giant fan of Nick Cage, so that's how you get there. Yeah, so I was a big fan of Mike Figgis when I was younger, because I watched Leaving Las Vegas, and that movie like blew my mind because it's one of the saddest movies you will ever see, ever. Think of somebody who's slowly dying by drinking themselves to death. That's Leaving Las Vegas.
Yes.
Um,
And here's your
movie.
Oscar, Nick Cage.
Here's your Oscar, Nick Cage. Yeah. In that movie, of course, also starred Elizabeth Shue as well.
Yes.
Another amazing performance. But I also read Mike Figgis's filmmaking book like 10 years ago. I think it was called Digital Filmmaking. Definitely dated now because I think it came out in like the late 2000s. So all that technique and all that technology he was talking about really doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's the one thing with old filmmaking books. When they get to more technical aspects of filmmaking, a lot of those things really aren't around. But I've always been a fan of Mike Figgis. He's not doing much work these days, although he did just do a documentary like 2 years ago about the guitarist for the Rolling Stones. That's not Keith Richards. the other one.
Ah, the other one.
Yeah, the other one. So he's still around. But this film has a 10. This edition has a 1080p high definition presentation from new to 2021 2K scan. New audio commentary with film critic Peter Tongiet from 2021. 50 minute The Guardian archival video interview with Mike Figgis from 97. New interview with composer Mike Isham. New interview with actor Matthew Modine. That's kind of cool. That's from 2021. Theatrical trailer, and then audio English GTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and LPCM 2.0, and then English subtitles. I think the 94 film does have one thing going for it, is that Albert Finney is great in the role. Like, he's fantastic in the role. It's a different interpretation, a different type of performance than I think Michael Redgrave. Redgrave was more subdued, more sad, more sullen, more beaten down, while Albert Finney just didn't have that, because he had that Albert Finney strong, powerful voice, and that really like commands a person that has a bit of strength in them, as opposed to, I think, this character who was so like weak and beaten down.
I was gonna say, it seems like the Albert Finney version is more like fighting the loneliness, or fighting all that stuff.
Yeah,
and it's lashing out to everybody else.
It really is, and of course, there's like, you can tell just the difference in filmmaking styles between the 50s and 90s. The 90s, of course, everything's more expansive, it's more dramatic, it's more theatrical, as opposed to the 50s version, which is taking that play and kind of just making it, a basic film version of it. There's a lot of difference between the two, but I'll say this. Even though I'm not as big a fan as the 94 version, I think this is still worth to buy just to own that first version. Now, will Criterion ever produce a Blu-ray version of the 1951 film? I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it, so I don't know what's going on there. It is an early one in their catalog. It's in the 200s somewhere. So that is the Browning version. And then move on to another film I saw called The Assassination Bureau. And this couldn't be more different than any of the films I've just talked about. This is a film from 1969 starring Oliver Reed and Diane Rigg. And this film takes place around right before World War I. And basically there's this assassination bureau that is like responsible for just like assassinating people that they deem need to be assassinated, essentially. Or you can like take out like a contract on someone or something. But basically Diane Rigg is this reporter, this journalist who wants to kind of expose them. And so she decides to take out a hit on the main person who runs the assassination bureau, and Oliver Reed. And Oliver Reed, instead of like being like, hey, why would you do that? He loves it. He thinks it's a challenge to him where he's like, he challenges all the other board members at this adjustment bureau to, hey, kill me or I'm going to kill you. So basically the whole movie is just people trying to kill him and he's trying to kill people. And it takes place in like it's almost like around the world in 80 days type era of like, there's like Zeppelins and blimps and the like trains and all kinds of stuff. And it also plays into like the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which started World War I as well. It is a lot going on. This movie is a crazy, wild film, definitely made in 1969, brightly colored, extravagant outfits, like weird comedy. It's an odd movie. It's written by Jack London. Inspired by a book co-written by Jack London.
I was going to say, wait a second.
Yeah,
he might have been dead by then.
They call it a spirited caper, inspired by a book co-written by Jack London. Yeah, it's an interesting movie. And Diane Rigg, for people who don't know, she was on Game of Thrones. I think she recently passed away within the last year or two. So this has a 1080p high definition presentation. A new audio commentary with Vic Pratt from the BFI and Kim Newman. A tribute to Diane Rigg, visual essay by Kat Ellinger. Theatrical trailer, and then audio English LPCM 2.0. And then theatrical trailer, and then English subtitles. And this is a limited slipcase on the first 2,000 copies. Losing my voice here.
Well, yeah, you're doing a lot of talking today.
Yeah. And then these final three I had not seen. So Ned Kelly, directed by. Oh, this coincidentally, here's another Criterion connection. Ned Kelly was directed by Tony Richardson,
Yeah.
who directed what's that movie? Is it Tom Jones?
Doug Jones. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Tom Jones, which I
Jones.
think is a Best Picture winner.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Best Picture winner. Talking about Albert Finney connection. Albert Finney, as a young actor, was in that movie, and he also directed another film. He directed A Taste of Honey, which is another film
In the Criterion Collection.
in the Criterion Collection. Yes, this is a movie starring Rita Tushington. Yeah, I own this. I wrote a paper on this in college at one point. But yeah, this is Ned Kelly, and this is, I think, based off of like a folk tale, like
Okay.
an Australian folk tale of Ned Kelly, who's basically like their Robin Hood. Yeah, based on the fascinating true life story of the 19th century Australian armored bandit, Ned Kelly is a powerful action packed adventure that thrillingly captures a bold and lawless era. When their mother is unfairly persecuted by police, Ned Kelly, Mick Jagger, and his brother Dan earn money for her defense by selling homemade liquor, but what begins as a simple moonshine operation quickly escalates into a series of armed robberies, desperate pursuits, and deadly confrontations. So that's that. Apparently, Mick Jagger and even Tony Richardson were like, yeah, Mick Jagger was wholly miscast in this film. I love how they're trying to sell it here. Rock superstar Mick Jagger gives a dynamic screen performance in an explosive tale from Academy Award-winning director Tony Richardson. But this edition has a 1080p high-definition presentation, new audio commentary by film scholar Adrian Martin, new interviews about the makeup of the film, the making of the film, and then an English LPCM 2.0 LPCM 2.0 audio trailer subtitles slipcase on first 2,000 copies. I mean, the artwork on it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Looks damn cool. Yeah, I couldn't watch that in time. And then this thing here, this next one here is kind of interesting. It's called the Big Screen British Comedy, and basically it is adaptations of movie adaptations of popular English comedy series at the time.
Yeah.
So you've got the movies Dad's Army, Steptoe and Son, Ride Again, Are You Being Served? 3 appearing on Blu-ray for the first time. Yeah, 3 of the most long-running BBC comedy hits hit the big screen, and 4 adaptations featuring the original casts, which I guess is kind of cool. I didn't know any of these shows other than Are You Being Served? So I'm just gonna run through this. So so on Dad's Army from 1971, 1080p high definition presentation, new audio commentary by Tony Pritchard and Paul Carpenter of the Dad's Army Appreciation Society, new interview with actor Frank Williams by the television writer Richard Webber, new interview with editor Willie Kemplin, interview with series co-creator Jimmy Perry and actor Billy Pertwee on Open House from 1998, 2 1970s public information films on road safety. Oh, riveting. The cast of Dad's Army. Oh boy. Theatrical trailer, isolated music score and effects audio track, and an LPCM 2.0 mono. Oh, those traffic. Ugh, riveting. And then next up is Steptoe and Son, starring Harry H. Corbett, Wilfred Bramble, and Carolyn Seymour. 1080p high-definition presentation, new audio commentary by television historian Dick Fitty, interview with writers Greg Galton and Alan Simpson, theatrical trailer, extensive stills gallery, isolated music score, and effects audio track, and then LPCM 2.0 mono, and subtitles, and then an insert reprint of the original film press book. Interesting. And then here we go, Steptoe and Son Ride Again. Yes. Steptoe and Son Ride Again. And this has 1080p high definition presentation. New audio commentary by film historian Vic Pratt and Will Fowler. excerpt from BBC's Nationwide featuring on-set interviews with cast and writers from 1973, Steptoe and Son Down Under audio recording from the Australian stage show from 1977, theatrical trailer, extensive stills gallery, isolated music score and effects audio track, LPCM 2.0 mono, and then subtitles, and then insert of the original film press book as well. And then lastly here is Are You Being Served? And this had a massive cast. I won't go through everyone. This is the 1977 big screen film version of the much loved and long running BBC comedy series. I see this show up on like WGBH and like BBC America. I think I see this.
Yeah.
I see episodes of this pop up all the time. 1080p high definition presentation from a 2019 restoration. New audio commentary with comedy historian Robert Ross. On-set interviews with the cast and writers Jeremy Lloyd and David Croft. Danish television sketch featuring John Inman, Molly Sugin, and Wendy Richard from 1976. Archival audio interview with actor John Inman. Theatrical trailer, extensive stills gallery, once again, isolated music score and effects audio track, LPCM 2.0 mono, and then subtitles, and then reprint insert of original film press book. I guess that's going to function as like the booklet you would see in other releases. It seems right. So yeah, the only thing I'm familiar there with Are You Being Served? Each of them is coming on their own disc, in their own case, in a box.
That's cool.
With cover art.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. Simple. And then lastly here is a film I tried to watch. Couldn't find it. I love the title, A Reflection of Fear. A disturbed young girl starts believing that there is something very sinister at work after her estranged father visits her at her mother and grandmother's house with the woman he plans to marry. Yeah. And it's 1080p high definition presentation, new audio commentary by author critic Lee Gambin, a new audio interview with actress Sandra Locke and actor Gordon DeVole, moderated by author/critic Lee Gambin, and then English LPCM 2.0 audio, trailer, subtitles, and then slipcase is limited to the first 2,000 copies. I like this cover. I really like this cover a lot. And the inner artwork, and the inner cover, which looks like just like the movie poster. I tried to find it because it looked very sinister. 1972 is going to get that grit in there. I don't know any of this other work from this director. At least I didn't look it up. William Fraker is his name. I think he was a cinematographer primarily. Yeah, he's got way more cinematography credits than directing credits. Wow.
But, it stars Robert Shaw, and he's always pretty strong, of course, from Jaws fame.
Yeah, it is Robert Shaw. That's why I wanted to look at it. And, of course, this weekend being July 4th, everyone was rewatching Jaws. Everybody was rewatching Jaws.
You're talking about you were watching a bunch of Imprint titles.
Yeah, I know. I was watching all these movies. I wasn't rewatching Jaws. Apparently he was a cinematographer or a camera operator on so much stuff. I thought I saw something here that piqued my interest. Like, I think he was a cinematographer on maybe... Wow, okay, here we go. Heaven Can Wait, 1941, not exactly right. Gator, featuring Burt Reynolds, rest in peace. I thought I saw Bullet. Yeah, Bullet, director of photography on Bullet with Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Oh, The Day of the Dolphin returns again.
Shit. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, Mike
hell
Nichols.
Yeah, we got to get this now.
George C. Scott talking to a dolphin. That's that movie, baby. This movie's great.
Hey, that's coming to me next month. I can't wait.
And he was a director. And he was
this month, actually.
Oh, you ordered the bundle?
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
I don't.
Nice.
When do you hear me missing an indicator bundle?
I can't wait until you watch that movie.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
And you see George C. Scott in Speedos and all kinds of
that
cool
should have
stuff.
just been the front cover.
Have you seen the poster art that they used for that release?
Yeah.
He's in his scuba gear, but the shorts go like it's one of those the old shorts that go up to basically your thighs, all the way up your thighs. Yeah, and this is like post Pat and George C. Scott talking to dolphins too. Brilliant. Anywho, back on track. Back on the right track. I think I Yeah, Reflection of Fear. So that's the Reflection of Fear, and I think that's all for
That's
Imprint.
it. Well, yeah.
So it's a group. It's a hefty group for that month.
Yeah, I mean they are putting out a lot of stuff. I mean, actually, we didn't cover this. I mean, we don't have to go through it, but they also are putting out like a show, a TV series called Space from 1999.
Yeah, Space 1999, the complete series.
Yeah.
Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, so I mean, Imprint's also putting out some TV shows too.
Their prices aren't. They're not shy about those prices. I'll tell you that.
I know.
But for this crop, the Browning version and the Harry Palmer collection are interesting ones for me and just my watch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. Everything.
That's it.
That's all.
We're done for now. There might have been some other announcements. I know Vinegar Syndrome announced some stuff.
Yes, they did.
But we're gonna wait till next week, which we'll have a new episode coming out this coming weekend with our friend Dan Skip Allen coming on.
Yes, indeed.
And we're gonna talk Criterion. We're gonna talk new announcements, but we're also gonna talk some Criterion stuff with the Criterion sale going on.
Yeah, it's the wild, wild west out there.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give some each of us are gonna talk about some of our favorite releases / some like recommendations. If maybe some more obscure titles that maybe if you're looking for some good suggestions, we're gonna try to give you some. So that'll be this coming weekend. Should be out probably Sunday at the latest. But that is it for spine number 11 of Chasing Labels. Where can we find you, Andrew?
You can find me on Twitter at Cabzilla06, as well as my YouTube channel, Cabzilla Productions.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can find me also on our Chasing Labels stuff, Instagram at Chasing Labels Pod, or Twitter, we're at Chasing Labels. You can also follow me personally on Letterboxd at Chasing Labels. And then you can find the audio for this podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, all the major platforms. That's it for this episode. Thanks again for listening. And hey, keep on watching them movies.
I know I will.